The families of the Nottingham attack victims have told Good Morning Britain they feel they've received no justice after the Court of Appeals decided not to change Valdo Calocane's sentence.
Emma Webber, James Coates and Dr Sanjoy Kumar told us this morning a public inquiry is the only way to get to the bottom of the multiple failings that led to the deaths of their loved ones.
It's utterly overwhelming. It's so alarming that I don't think we can do anything other than say, OK, you're not going to give us the answers, and it's so painful for us. I think we need a public inquiry.
So
painful. Anyway, we'll get our answers.
Well, the Minister for Crime and Policing is Chris Philp, and he joins us now from Westminster. It was the first time, Chris Philp, that we on this programme had spoken to all the families together in the studio. And the pain they feel is palpable. No human being could possibly be unaffected. And therefore, when they say a public inquiry is the only way to get to the bottom of what happened, you can't help but 100% support that. Keir Starmer supports it. Does Rishi Sunak support a public inquiry? Morning.
Good morning. Well, I mean, you're quite right. Hearing the families speak out in the way they have is absolutely heartbreaking. And I know all of us can only begin to imagine how terrible it must be to lose a loved one, to lose, to lose a father, to lose a son, to lose a daughter, a brother or a sister. Just absolutely heartbreaking. And they've been very brave by speaking on the issue as they have on your programme and elsewhere as well. I know the Prime Minister has met the families and, was also very deeply moved by what he heard from them. You asked a question about the public inquiry. So what I think the Prime Minister said to the families in the meeting he had a little while ago was that there are various inquiries still going on at the moment. Some have completed. I think the CQC and the CPS review is one. There are 2 or 3 other investigations going on. One is by the Independent Office of Police Conduct. One is by the College of Policing.
There are multiple inquiries. Their point
right.
is that they're all operating separately. One public inquiry would then answer all of the questions. If you have multiple different inquiries, they bring up lots of different points. And as they told us, who then answers for those different things that each of these individual inquiries brings up? They want one central inquiry.
Yeah.
As I say, the opposition leader, Keir Starmer, has said yes. Rishi Sunak, could you not just announce a public inquiry? It would ease the pain, not resolve the pain of the families, and it would get to answers for everybody.
Yeah. Look, I completely understand that. What the PM, I think, Prime Minister said to the families and afterwards is that once these various investigations that I just talked about have concluded, he'll look at those results and the outcome of those, and if further work is needed for the reason that you mentioned, or indeed any other reason, to draw it all together, or if there are areas that haven't properly been looked at, then obviously he'd make that decision to launch a public inquiry at that point. But I think it is reasonable that the Prime Minister just looks at these other the results of these other investigations before making that decision, because of course the families, obviously, you could see it from the clip you played, really want all of the answers, and they are entitled to those. Of course they are. But let's just make sure we've done the initial work before making that final decision about a public inquiry.
Can we talk, though, about what is reasonable here and, in particular, your responsibility as policing minister? Because, look, we know there's 8 inquiries. There were failures across different agencies. We know there were some particularly serious problems in Leicestershire and in Nottinghamshire police. They had evidence, they didn't act, they could have taken action. There was then subsequently terrible things said on WhatsApp messages. Talking to the families, they were told by the Chief Constable of Nottinghamshire Police that she would not engage with them on any issues. We spoke to Nottinghamshire Police last night. They said it would be inappropriate to comment due to the ongoing independent investigation by the IOPC and the review by the College of Policing. And the point is, Mr Philp, you will know this from your time as a constituency MP as well as a minister. I've seen this before. This is leaders in the public services, in this case, the Chief Constable of Nottinghamshire Police, who's hiding behind process, who's refusing to engage and lead. She needs to be talking about what went wrong and talking about the lessons to be learned and engaging with the families. Of course, she can't preempt the investigations, but this is so defensive and it's so damaging. It persuades me that unless you have an overarching inquiry, we aren't going to get to the truth. Can you speak to Nottinghamshire Police and tell them to get their act together? Because the way they're behaving is unacceptable.
I will speak to Nottinghamshire Police. Look, my own approach to these things as a constituency MP and as a minister is that I do meet families who have been bereaved, and I encourage colleagues to do. And as you know, the Prime Minister and other ministers have met the families concerned in this awful case as well. I think it's important that all of us in public life are open to speaking to people. Yes, I do agree with you there.
And look, I think if it was the commander of the Metropolitan Police, they would come on our programme and talk about it, because they would think they need to lead and give confidence to London policing. It seems to me, Mr Philp, what's happening in Nottinghamshire is undermining confidence in policing. It's so defensive. I mean, it should change now, today, shouldn't it?
Well, look, as I say, there are these investigations that are going on. The Independent Office of Police Conduct, the College of Policing. It is important we get to the bottom of the issues, and that's why those investigations are happening. I mean,
of course that's true, but that doesn't stop you as a leader in the public service speaking publicly, talking to families, showing you understand the issues, their concerns, and giving confidence, yet on the case, rather than defensive, buck-passing or pushing away.
Yep, I understand the point you're making, and that's one of the reasons, of course, why the Prime Minister met the families.
I think it's really good that you'll speak to the Chief Constable of Nottinghamshire Police, and would like to know how you get on, because we've tried and served the families, and so far we've all failed. But maybe being the Policing Minister will give you a bit more leverage.
Chris Philp, we appreciate your time. Thanks very much indeed.